What's up guys, welcome back. If you've got an MX5, either a Mark 1 or a Mark 2, or this one a Mark 2.5, and it's leaking coolant, but not from the front, but from around the engine, this is a really common fault, and it's probably this. Now, I've literally just changed this part. I'll tell you what I did in a minute. It started off being reasonably daunting, but actually it's quite easy. Now this part, which is a water inlet pipe, manifold, whatever you call it, where that elbow is, in fact this is actually a curve, so on the Mark 1 and the early Mark 2s that's actually an elbow, and they changed it on the Mark 2.5 to a curve, but you can see it still gets a hole in it. And here's the new one down here. So first job is to get the airbox out. So top of the airbox is literally just a couple of clips, and then a plug one side and a plug the other side, air filter out, and then the air box out. So there's literally just two bolts, one at each end, and then that whole thing just lifts out. Intake pipe's obviously got to come off first. There's literally just like a Jubilee clip at each end, and then this pipe which runs around to the block there. Literally just take that off, chuck it out of the way. Now I struggled for the first bit because this bracket was rubbing on my arm, so then there's only 3 bolts. Take this up, move that out of the way. Now the bit that is going to save you a lot of time and hassle, which is what I've done earlier when I took the old one off, is that the power steering pump sits there, and you're trying to work underneath, which I've managed to get the old one out, but kind of blind, and you're trying to work down between this and scraping your arm on this, etc, etc. But actually when you come to fit the new one, you can't clean the gasket up without taking the power steering pump out of the way, and it's literally take the adjuster out there and the bolt out there, that's kind of all one bit, and then there's one long bolt that goes through the whole thing, and then once you've undone that, keep all the pipes attached, and then literally lift the power steering pump down and push it right down there out of the way, and then you've got all this space, because with it there you're not going to be able to clean the old gasket up when you take the old one off, because there's some of it that's left behind and the rest of it was on the engine block. That's all got to be super clean before you fit the new one, and it's really difficult to see where these bolts go with the power steering pump in the way. It literally took about 4 minutes, and it probably would have saved me about half an hour getting the old one out, and I wouldn't have been able to fit the new one with that there. Couple of other things that I did is, once this bottom radiator hose is off, because that goes on there, once I took the old one off I realised how manky it was. So with that already off one side, it literally follows all the way back to the bottom of the radiator here. You have to take the fan off. Once you take the fan off, that's literally just one clip there and 2 12mm nuts at the top, and then it just locates in these little things at the bottom there, so you don't need to do that from underneath the car. Literally just take the 2 nuts out the top, bolts out the top even, and then you can get to this clip that's on there, which you can't see, but it's there. Once you get to that clip you can pull that off and then change that hose. That hose is about £16, so that's worth doing while you're in there. And when you go and buy this new inlet pipe manifold thing, whatever you call it, make sure to get a new gasket, and make sure to get a new O-ring that's on the end of here, because that's like £2 and that was like £4 or something. And then at that point, if you want to, because you've got to take the belts, power steering belt off, might be worth changing your belt. I only did this last year, so they're all right. Also tried to get a replacement for this pipe as well, which comes off the elbow and runs up through here, but they're out of stock. So I had to try and get this one off, which is all pretty corroded on there. It was pretty horrible. I left the pipe on while I was taking that off and managed to free it afterwards, but ideally if they've got one, get one of them as well. The only other thing that I found while I was in there is, once I've taken the air filter out, I realised it looked pretty second-hand, so I'm going to give that a clean. Let us know if this upgraded part with the curved elbow, or the curved pipe instead of the elbow, is an upgrade part for a Mark 1 and early Mark 2, because the elbow ones cracked and leaked all the time, and apparently these ones last a lot longer, but I don't know if that will fit a Mark 1 or an early Mark 2. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. If you found that helpful, that's helped you out, let us know. Subscribe obviously, check out all my other videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Here she goes. few bubbles coming out. I put the fan on yet, but it's not pouring water out, so that's a good thing, isn't it?